What's going on, y'all? This is Sam Thory, and today I'm going to be starting a brand new series on building an AI content platform. And this is going to basically take us through building a content creation platform that we could use for blog articles and LinkedIn posts and other social media posts, as well as possibly images and videos, and maybe even getting into computer use, stuff like that as well. Actually, we want to be able to use this as a company and plug it into our workflows to give us some advantages in building out content on a regular basis, scheduling jobs around it so that we don't have to necessarily even do anything. It'll just kind of build itself. So that's the process that we're going to do. That's the project that we're going to do. What we are using as a starter, I have up on the screen, is a starter template from Vercel using LangChain and obviously Next.js. So this is going to give us some basic functionality in this template here. Simple chat. If you read through this, and you definitely should, I'll leave you a link so that you can get to this. But it's our basic setup for the project. We don't have to read through all of this now. We will go through the actual code base before we actually clone it down and all of that, so you'll get a better understanding. In this video, we're going to set up the project, so we'll clone it down, install all of the dependencies. We'll go through everything in the project, like I said, so we'll go step by step through everything that comes with the starter. We're going to be installing Biome for linting and formatting instead of using ESLint and Prettier. Biome is a newer product out there that offers it all in one for us, so we're going to give that a go. And then we're going to set up some Git hooks using Biome and Husky for committing and pushing to make sure that everything is formatting correctly, that our commit messages are formatted correctly, and before we push anything, we don't have any errors. So that's going to give us some built-in testing. Of course, we're going to build on top of that later on. We'll add Vite tests to build out a full testing platform there. So again, what you'll need here, the resources that you're going to need, is this LangChain Next.js Starter, which you can find on Vercel Starter Templates. You're going to need to understand Biome to a certain extent for this video. Biome is just biomejs.dev. You can go through the documentation. It's a fairly simple setup though, so we'll get through that. We'll talk about LangChain a little bit later in the video. This is it's a useful tool for us, and it's very simple to set up with Vercel's AI SDK, which we're going to be using. We already have an account with LangChain. Obviously, we're going to be using Husky, as I mentioned, with Biome to set up these Git hooks as well. So just some resources that I'll add in the comments for you to use there. All right, so before we go any further, let's just talk about LangChain a little bit. This is a framework designed to simplify the development of applications powered by language models. This is going to, let me just pull it up here. It's going to offer us some tools like Retrieval-Augmented Generation, RAG, which allows us to pull from documents and enhance our content generation by integrating these into our external data sources that we're pulling. It can process documents, so it efficiently will handle a PDF or anything that we put in and transform that text data and make it usable and understandable for us. And integrating AI tools with LangChain is very simple and seamless, so it's definitely a good option to go with. The reason we chose LangChain over some other products like Llama Cloud would be one, is the integration is very simple with these other tools, like I said, and then has a great support for modern technologies like Next.js, obviously, Supabase, which we're going to be using, and Vercel SDK, which is essential here. So just a little bit of background information on LangChain. We don't have to go too deep into it yet because we're really not getting into that for a few more videos. We have to do a lot of setup before we get to that. For now, let's just take a look at the code base that we're starting with. So this is the GitHub for the starter template. And you see we have our app, which has several routes already defined here. We have our initial page. So This is essentially about 6 or 7 different ways that you can use the app straight out of the box. Once we have all the API keys and everything plugged in, these should all work. We can take a look at the demo real quick. We should be able to get to this point today where we have all of this. You have chat, structured output. These are all those routes, agents, retrieval, and these are just different functionalities that you can do. For retrieval, we can upload a document. There's a lot of stuff we can do straight out of the box with this thing. And again, these are the routes for that. We have our initial page, which just lands us on that first chat window there. Our components, we have our chat message bubble, chat window, intermediate step, a nav bar, and upload documents form. So this is a good starter set of components for us. Obviously, we're going to make a lot of changes to these. We may not end up keeping all of them. We may not end up using them in the form that they are, but it'll give us something to start with for sure. So that's good. And then we have default retrieval text data. So this is a series of, let's see, I think this is just like sample data for us. I'm not 100% sure on this one. That's okay. Again, we're not going to get into all of this today. It's just good to have a general understanding of what we're getting into here. So anyways, we have that. We have our .env.example. We have an open API key that we'll put in here. We have, obviously that'll just say false. I have a SERP API key. This is something that you can get right here. It's serpapi.com. This just will allow the agent to search the web. You can't do it without this API key. So we already have that. Where were we here? We're going to set up Supabase, not in this video, but we will set this up. We'll have a Supabase database. We do have our LangChain API key for Langsmith. But this may not be something that we'll use. We'll have to see. It is optional. I don't have an Anthropic API key, so we won't add that in. We're not going to turn that on. So you see some initial stuff that we can start with there. We have our ESLint, Prettier. So we may end up getting rid of these. Maybe not in this video, but we'll probably end up getting rid of these because we're using Biome instead. So that's cool. And these are empty anyway, so that's fine. We have some yarn references here. That's fine. We're actually going to do PNPM instead. Excuse me. That's okay. So I think we're looking pretty good there. We've gone through the essentials of our starter project here, what we're getting right out of the box. And all of this should be really easy to extend and build on top of it because of how Next.js is built. So we'll have eventually a folder for our lib, which will be everything that we need for Supabase and TRPC and every other little plugin product that we're using with this. More weapons in our arsenal for this project. All that will go in our lib folder. And we just can continue to build on top of that. It's very easy to extend in a Next.js app like that. Also, this promotes clean separation of concerns and is very easy to maintain and scale, as I said. So going through all that, got it down. Now we're going to go in and clone this, and we'll get started with the project. Excuse me, that is cursor. So I have a big old terminal here where I'll pull this clone in. Just copy this real quick, paste that in. Now we're going to CD into that project there, which is going to be called. And now we can just go over to our new window of cursor and open this folder up. It's this guy right here. Very good. We have our project, and I'm just going to set up a color for this one so I just have a clean understanding. That's a very bright color. I can work with that. Found multiple lock files, blah, blah, blah. To resolve this, delete that don't match. We'll ignore that for now, that's fine. So now, like I said, we're gonna use PNPM, and we can go ahead and just run PNPM install in this project. So I'll open up my terminal here. I'll make this a little bit bigger for y'all. And I'll run PNPM install, PNPM help install. So we're getting an error about this is configured to use yarn. Let's check with the chat actually, not with Composer. And I change this project to use PNPM. So we're gonna delete yarn lock, move to the trash. We're going to delete yarn D, move to the trash. This right here, we can probably delete as well. Move to the trash. Let's see what we got now. So let's try a pnpm install now. Oh no. Let's see if package.json has anything here. There we go. So in the package manager, it was configured there. So let's try it again. Seems to be working now. So the reason we use pnpm over some of the other ones is that we really have faster installations due to efficient package management. We're using a YAML file with pnpm instead of a package lock.json that you usually get. So if we look here, we just had this created, the pnpm lock.yaml. This just is more efficient. This has a better disk space optimization through symlinking shared dependencies as well. So just a couple of advantages. I know there's a lot of different ways you can do it. You can do bun, yarn, npm, pnpm. There's a lot more. This is the one I've been using recently and I like it. So that's what I'm going with. Then we remember that we talked about this .env.example. So we'll do this real quick. We'll do cp.env.example to .env.local. And that's just going to copy that, build it in here. I'm going to pull this off the screen real quick and put in my API keys so y'all can't see it. And then I'll bring it back. It's okay, don't worry. So I'm putting in the OpenAI key. There we go, that's in. And we're going to uncomment the SERP API key and use that one as well, because we will need that. That one's in. And we have our Supabase stuff, not yet. We're not doing that. I won't put in the LangChain API key yet, just because we're not going to get to that point yet. I do have it saved though. So I'm going to take it off of this, and we'll just put it on some random page.tsx here. And I'll get this off just in case I click on it by accident. So we should be all good there. All right, so now we're going to go in and let's see. We can go ahead and do a pnpm run dev here. Let's see what we're working with. It's going to open up on localhost 3001. So let's go back over to the browser. Take a look at localhost 3001. All right. So this isn't going to be fully functional yet because we haven't hooked up Supabase yet. We definitely will, but we do have it working. Let's see if we can navigate to another page. It's very good. So some of this stuff isn't working quite fully yet. That's fine, or maybe that is. That's just all it says. So we have pretty much exactly what we had in that demo at this point, except we do actually have our own API key for OpenAI. So that's good. So we've moved a little bit beyond that. What we can do now is go ahead and set up Biome. So again, Biome is this all-in-one code quality tool that handles linting, formatting, and import sorting. It's going to help us enforce best practices and lead to cleaner, more maintainable code over time. Obviously, this is just one of many projects that I have going on, and I want to keep everything looking exactly the same. So all of my Biome rules across my different projects should be exactly the same and just automatically work with what I set up with Husky. So obviously we have ESLint and Prettier. Those are established tools that I've been using for years and years. The reason to use Biome over those is that it is offering us this one tool. So we're not having a Prettier RC and an ESLint RC and all these different rules that have to play together. It's just Biome. And it's a very nice setup when we take a look at it. So what we're going to do first is just go back over to our terminal in this project, and we'll open up a new one, just keep it running here. And I'll go in here, and we're still in our project. That's good. So I'm going to go ahead and say pnpm add -d, because this is a dev dependency, at biome.js/biome. That went ahead and installed. We'll take a look at package.json just to make sure, and we see it right here, so that's great. So now what we're going to do, and I have something pre-configured here that I'll take in, is set up our biome.json file. So this is going to go, we'll put it in a new folder that will be in our root called config. There we go. All right, and new file that we're calling biome.json. And in here, I have this, and we'll go through this here. So we have three sections for this biome.json. We have organize imports, which is set to true. And essentially, organize imports when we do our obs, our commit obs, pre-commit and stuff. This is automatically going to sort and remove unused imports. So we have that enabled to true. We have linter. This applies recommended linting rules to catch common issues. We enable this to true, rules recommended true. And then we have the formatter. So this is what linter would be ESLint. The formatter would be prettier. This ensures consistent formatting with 2-space indentation. So indent width is 2, indent style space, enabled to true. Very simple. We're not doing anything more than that at this point. You could obviously go a lot further if you wanted to. So that's it for now on that. What we can do now is take a look at package.json. What we need is we have these scripts right now. We have next dev, next build, next start, next lint, and format. What we're gonna do is a biome. So we'll do this, and it's just gonna be, so that's it. So all we have to do is just biome dot. It's going to find that file for us, let's hope. So all we have to do now to give it a test is run pnpm biome. Oh, and I can't see this since we have this little message here. Expected command got, it's not very useful. So let's take this, add to the chat. Oh, that didn't seem to work. Let's add it to Composer. We're getting an error in running biome. So let's see what we changed here. So first of all, we did this biome check dot, biome format dot right. I don't know about that. Let's see. And it's telling me in yarn, which we don't want. Project is configured to use yarn, but you're trying to use pnpm. The biome command wasn't properly configured in the package.json scripts. So where are we still configuring this to use yarn? Let's do a search. That's just in those. I think we should be fine at that point. Maybe it's just pulling up old data. Let's see in the biome.json what it's doing. Where did that go? It is in the config. That's right. Format with errors false. It's trying to add a lot I don't like. Formatter quote style, trailing comma, files ignore. We're going to reject that. I don't love that. Let's try just the package.json file change first. And again. So now we have a ton of errors. Some errors were emitted while running checks. Found 1168 errors. Or Dynamics. Oh my goodness. So this may be where we need to exclude certain files. So let's take a look at this files ignore here and take this into the biome.json right here. So we have, yes, let's give it a try again. Cross our fingers. Oh my, still 1168 errors. That is not great. So just looking through this, this actually does still look like dependencies. Maybe I need to move this. I'm going to try moving this just to the root one time. Let's see if that has any effect. Oh, well, we found 156 errors this time. So let's go back over here and we can run, we'll accept this, I think. And let's try a biome format, first of all. pnpm biome format. Fix the 11 files, and then we'll run this again. Obviously, we're going to still have the same file errors. And we see here we can run this. Let's try this. Biome check fix unsafe. Oh, what happened? Whoop. I got through some of the errors. We have some any, so we can just make this a little bit looser for now. Linter, let's try the false for now. We'll come back to that obviously. And let's see. Now turning that off, looks like we're all good. So we can move on. Obviously, we want to fix this, but I think most of them were just like any errors from TypeScript, which isn't great, but we can fix that later on. Good news is though, we have Biome up and running. Looks like it is working to format and all of that. Now we want to move on to setting up the Git hooks with Husky. So Git hooks are essentially scripts that can run automatically at specific points during your workflow with Git. So once you say git add dot, it could run then. Commit, it could run before you commit or after you commit. When you push, so all of these little things that you could trigger these Git hooks from. So that's what we're gonna do with Husky and Biome. So we're gonna take Husky, and first of all, let's go ahead and just install it. So we'll do an init on Husky as well here. So this is pnpm dlx husky init and pnpm install. Let's see what we get here. It's doing a whole lot of stuff. Let's see what it created. Oh, look, changed all of this here. That's great. Wow. Very cool. So it did a lot of work there. If we look through here, maybe that was beforehand. And this was just in not really sure, but that's okay. Take a look in package.json. We have prepare now. That was just added. And we should see Husky as a dependency. Very good. Now we can go ahead and create, what we're going to do is create a pre-commit hook. This will run Biome for formatting and linting right before we commit. So what we're going to do is take this command, pnpm add .husky / pre-commit, and we're going to do our pnpm biome script. And we'll go ahead and just hit add here and see what happens. We have an error. Isn't supported by any available resolver. That's interesting. So let's see here. Let's add this. Getting an error when setting up a pre-commit hook with Husky and Biome. And if this gives us something that gets us stuck a little bit, we're going to take Husky's documentation, we're going to take Biome's documentation and drop it into Cursor so that we understand fully what's going on here. So first off, let's see, try to create a lot of stuff here. Pre-commit husky.sh. I don't want that, so let's take that out. Where did it do that? Delete. What else did it do? Just the pre-commit package.json npm run all. I don't know about that. Don't need that. And what else did it do? Oh, oopsie. So we're gonna try this. Wait a second. All right, let's try this run here. So now we have this here. This looks good. See, we should be good there. This sets up a Husky folder now, and we have the hook for the initial script there. Now we're gonna do a pre-push hook. So I'll drop this one in here, and we're gonna do the same thing we just had with the last one, where we change pnpm to px. That seemed to help it. And we'll hit no. That's our pre-push, so let's see what we got there. Type check pnpm test, good. And did that add anything to our package.json? Nothing there, that's okay. And now we're gonna do one other one. And first of all, that pre-push hook, this prevents pushing code with type errors or failing tests, maintaining a stable code base. So we're gonna run that every time before we actually push up. We're gonna add another one here for commit messages. This is gonna enforce a conventional commit message. So just so that every time we commit up to GitHub, we're having the same type of message. So we'll do this run right here. And again, same thing, we'll change it from pnpm to npx. All good there, take a look again. This is the commit message one. There we go. And commit lint. And now we go to our next one where we're gonna do a prepare commit message where we're gonna add the branch name to each of the commit messages to help provide context for each commit. So we can automatically do this without having to type it in every time. So we'll just add this one in here. And this is, we'll change this again here, npx, Husky add this is the script here. So exec, we pull in the branch name as a prefix. That's essentially what it's doing. No. And we should be good there. So we have prepare commit message. And all right, so let's go ahead and just go ahead and we'll do a git add and git commit -m update initial commit. And let's see what happens. So it did run and we had a failure. So it went in, no fixes applied for the Biome check. We have a syntax error near unexpected token new line, right, from prepare commit message. So let's see here. So there's a syntax error here. I wonder what it might be. So let's take a look. If we drop this in, error in @prepare commit message. Let's see how we do here. So it should go in here and make any necessary changes that it needs to. It added a lot. So let's see how it does with this. We'll run this again. Oh, now we got this. This is, let's see here, commit lint not found. All right, so we'll drop this in. We'll say new error, please be concise in your solution. And this is coming from that commit message. So new errors are always good. That's at least we moved on from the initial error. All right, so now it's saying you need to install commit lint. Add these to your package.json. So it should have added this commit lint.config. What is this nonsense? Commit message. Sure, we can do that. So we'll go ahead and run this. Let's look at what it just created here, this commit lint.config. Sure. And we'll try it again. What do we have now? Found one error. So that new file that we just had, it looks like we had a format error. So let's run the format again, which we haven't done for a second. There we go. All right, so it fixed one file. Hopefully it was the one we wanted. Now what do we have? Input main initial commit. Subject may not be empty. Type may not be empty. Found 2 problems, 0 warnings. Let's try this. All right, what is this from now? Subject. All right, we're going to get to the bottom of this one. Understand the error we are getting from our commit hooks with Husky and Biome. And since it's not pulling it over, I'm just going to have to copy it, paste it in, no problem. Oh, so it did it. Hold on a second here. With the script configured, the correct format should be biome check dot or biome format dot, which is what we had initially. We got that. That's fine. Commit message error is coming from commit lint, which enforces conventional commit message format. Your commit message needs to follow this structure: type, scope, subject. For example, instead of update initial commit, you should use something like feat initial commit. Let's try that. Still no. So it's because it's pulling in the branch from the pre-commit, which is hilarious. In @prepare, we add the branch as a prefix. We need to update the other jobs to reflect this. See how it handles that, because that was weirdly worded, but I did the best I could. So it does understand our issue. So now we're going to take this. This seems very strange. So let's go in to our commit lint.config. We'll apply this, accept. So these are the prefixes that we can use for the type. Feat, fix, docs. That's cool. Header pattern, that's fine. And now we'll go back over to prepare commit message where we have some changes that we're going to make. So we'll hit apply here and accept, and that hopefully should do it. Let's take a look. Maybe we'll just move on to the next error, but that's okay too. If it's the same error, I'll be upset. So now we're back to our formatting issues, which is fine. This is the loop that we put ourselves in. I fixed one file, hopefully it was it. We have a new error. So it sounds like some of the code that it just gave me was incorrect. So I'm going to drop this in. Something didn't work with that configuration. Here's the error. So let's see what it figures out with that. So we're going to go ahead and apply these changes. Since I don't really know that much about commit lint, I'm kind of trusting it, and unfortunately it doesn't have the most up-to-date information, so we might need to pull in the docs if it just doesn't work here. So that should be good. Commit that. We have a new error, probably because that's not formatted. We format, try again. Oh my goodness. The message must be in format branch, type, subject. So now it's not adding pre-branch, which is terrible, and it's checking for that now. In at prepare, we need to add the branch name as a prefix. Let's see how it does here. Ooh, I don't know about this, guys. I think we're in a bad loop here. Guys, so we're at the point now where something's off. We're gonna have to pull in some documentation. So let's go first to Husky, which we have pulled up, and we're just gonna copy this right here and go back to cursor, go into the settings, to features, and we're gonna add it right here. Got that. We're going to pull in this commit lint right here. Pull this in, maybe the reference. Let's pull this in. We are gonna get Biome, go to the docs here, pull that in, and we'll add the new docs for Biome. All right, so now that we have that established, let's open up a new composer. I'm having issues in setting up my Husky hooks, and I'll do an at Husky hooks at, so that gets all of those. Please look at these, and at commit lint at biome.json, and the documentation for at biome at commit lint. There it is, and fix the issues. See how it does with a little bit more context now. We've been feeding it as little as possible to see if we can get this done. But now that we're cutting some walls, let's give it a bunch and see what it does with that. All right, and we'll go one by one through these. First is changing all of these. It's creating a common Windows compatibility. Interesting. Added Windows compatibility, that's fine. Error handling and hooks, better biome configuration with more specific rules, enhanced commit message. So for the biome, I'm gonna reject this one because I don't want to set all of that up yet. In fact, we want to keep it kind of loose to make sure we can get through this. We can do this. Let's take a look at these. Just adding a little bit more. We'll accept. We'll accept. I think we'll accept, and accept. This is the big one. So now let's try it here and let's see what we got. Maybe we have a different error now. I don't know. Still the same error. So what's our, so let's feed this back in. Now that it has all of this, got this error. Let's go in and prepare commit message, which we already have open conveniently. And let's see. Check to see if the commit message already has a prefix in square brackets. Only adds the prefix if one doesn't already exist. Preserves the original message structure. That's good. If you're on branch main and commit with feature add auth, it will become a perfect. Make sure to make the hook executable. Let's try adding that. I'm not sure we need to do this, but let's just do it. All right, now let's see what we got. Because I think that was a good change. Oh no, deprecated. Let's try it again. I'm not sure if it picked up those changes since they weren't accepted, but I think it did. So we're still getting the error, and we're getting something else as well. So let's pass all of this. Oh, don't want to go too far. I'm getting this error now. Please consult at Husky, at Biome, at commitlet, and at codebase, which is going to pull everything in our codebase to make sure everything is set up correctly. So sometimes with AI, we get into some of these loops where it'll just continue to give you the same information. You'll get the same error. You give it more context. Maybe you get a little bit further. Maybe you get further away. A little bit dangerous. So let's see what it did here. First, let's update the Biome pre-commit hook to use write instead of deprecated apply. Good. Let's try this. Since it's not allowing us to just, oh my, this is different. Different errors, folks. So now we're back to having just a ton of errors. Let's see here. Where do we begin? Here we go. All right. So let's look at our biome.json again. And yeah, it's trying to add this again. So we reject and try it again. Oh my, how can we be back to this again? All right. Still getting the same error. It is very annoying. I'm still getting this error. Commit message is correct. What is going on here? That's when you just start screaming at the AI and it doesn't do anything. Oh my. Let's try that. Copy. Now that we've changed the commit lint, which we know very little about, see if that fixed anything. Oh my god. None of this is working. Please rewrite at prepare to work in a completely different way. We don't have to use commit lint. What have we changed here? We have removed commit lint. We're not referencing it anymore. That's great. Never want to see it again. We've added a bunch of stuff. We have our errors there. That's fine. So let's take a look. Let's try one of these that should work. Oh my gosh. What is happening here? Where's this coming from now? Pre-commit? Oh, it's coming from at commit message. Please fix at commit. Not to use commit lint. Got a lot there. Let's hope it didn't get off base. Wow. New error. Copy this one more time. Oh my gosh, guys. We finally did it. So we are going to go ahead and accept all of these before something else breaks. And let's see if we get any more when we go ahead and push this up to main. Remote pushes, but denied to Thorsky one. I don't have it set up in GitHub yet. So let's go ahead and do that first. All right, we'll create a new repository here. And we're going to call this the same thing. Actually, we're going to call this our Raleigh AI content Thorsky one. And we'll make it public for now. We don't need a README. Looks good. And this is under my account. Good. All right, so now we want to pull this in. So we're going to do these 3 commands. Just copy that. Pull it here. And whoop, what happened here? Okay, guys, I had to take that offline. It got a little messy there. Just turns out that when we cloned down the repository, we forgot to set the origin to our new repository in our GitHub. So we did that, and I was able to push it all up. We can go ahead and accept all of these last changes. We just had an issue with LangChain text splitter that we ran across. So everything is pushed up. Let's just go ahead and make a small change just so you can see all of the steps that we go through. I'm just going to go into here and say Next.js template, yay. And I'll do git add dot git commit minus m, and we have to do it in this syntax feature add more to the title, whatever. And you can see it's going through all the steps there really quickly. Check 46 files in 34 milliseconds, and no fixes applied because we've already done all of that in the last run there. Git push, origin, main, and we haven't set up another branch or anything. I mean, this is just simple. So it's doing some last checks. This is the pre-push checks that it's doing now. And it's going through. Looks like everything is good. If we go over to GitHub, we should have it up here. Let's hope. Yay. Okay, we're all set up there, so that's great. So just going over everything that we did in this video, we cloned down our LangChain Next.js Starter Template. We added Biome with Husky and multiple hooks, Git hooks that we have triggering throughout our GitHub workflow, pre-commit, commit message, pre-push. All good there. Everything's working as expected. We went over the entire structure, how it can support scalability as we go through everything. We set up our environment variables. We got it running in our development server. We added Biome, as we said. We added the Git hooks and Husky. So all good. In our next video, we're really going to jump ahead not really jump ahead, but we have some big time setup things to do with Supabase and Clerk for authentication. So before we deploy this to Vercel, I want to make sure that it's locked down. Nobody else can use my Open AI API key, and that I have Supabase fully set up. So we'll do that next. That'll be really fun. There's going to be some TRPC stuff that we get into after that, but this will lay the groundwork and give us more weapons for our arsenal when we're building out this content creation engine that we can use internally. And we can really make this extensible as well. Like, it doesn't have to be only for my business. You could have this as an app where you just plug in your API keys and you're good to go. So, a lot of opportunities to do some cool stuff there. Please, I'm just getting started, y'all. Please like and subscribe and turn on the notifications so that when the next video comes out, you'll be ready to go. And that'll, again, be the Supabase and Clerk setup. So really interesting stuff. There's going to be a lot of videos in this one. We're going through a lot. It's a ton that we have to do for this project. Each video, though, will focus on one specific or several topics that are intertwined, so you don't necessarily have to watch them all in order. We'll add links to the GitHub and any of the other links that we called out throughout this. So thanks again, y'all. Have a great afternoon and day and morning and wherever you are.